Hello everyone, thank you for tuning into my channel. So today is an FAQ that I've gotten from several people, not any one person in specific. And the question is about how am I going to transition my kids into vegan? And for my husband and I, we actually have done a progressive approach to going vegan with the kids. So we do have a lot of foods that we already have purchased over the last couple of months that have a long shelf life and are in the fridge, like string cheeses, like regular cheese, like turkey, and we do have a lot of kid snacks that have milk and eggs. So as far as that goes, we're not doing like an overhaul. Like we're not going in the fridge and we're not like throwing out every single thing in the fridge. We're not going in the cupboards and tossing out every single thing. But what I did do was things that we feel we will be able to get through rather quickly, we're going to continue giving it to them. I did swap out the milk for Elle and she's using almond milk. She's not said anything about it. The kids usually have turkey sandwiches. Instead of giving them a turkey sandwich every single time that they're with me, what I've done is substitute out the sandwiches with something else like rice and beans and so on for their lunches. And also we got tofurkey turkey, so they're also getting some of the tofu turkey as a way for them to have their lunches. All of the cookies and the snacks and things like that, we're just gonna continue giving them to them until they run out. Even like the fruit snacks, they're made with gelatin, and gelatin, from what I understand, is not vegan. So we've gotten like an organic fruit snack that doesn't have gelatin in it. So we're still giving them, however, the other fruit snacks we have, which is by Welch's, and they're gonna get those until they completely finish them. So the same thing is gonna happen with anything that we currently have in the home. We're just going to finish out all these things we have and not just like do a complete overhaul. But when the children are not with us, which is very infrequent, our children do go to daycare only 3 days a week. They're there for the morning where they have breakfast, they have an afternoon lunch. We're not necessarily going to make a 180 switch. I've talked with their teacher already, the director of the daycare, and we've talked about the fact that our kids are vegan, and I've asked her to make her best effort to not give them dishes that incorporate meat, not necessarily the main entree, but we're not going to make it a big deal until I am ready to start sending lunches to school with them. So for example, they had like macaroni and cheese with like a few hot dog pieces that she had cut up. She did not give them any of the hot dogs, but she still gave them the macaroni and cheese, which kids love. The cheese is obviously not vegan, but it was something that I just was not willing to, or I'm not interested in really going full force and saying, absolutely not, don't give our kids cheese. No, because if I wanted her to not give them certain foods, then as their mother and as their father, we need to prepare lunches for them to take. So we want this to be a gradual process for our children. My son is 4 and my daughter is about to be 2, and so far they've not really noticed much change. We've had the conversation with them about what is vegan and what's not vegan. So my son knows that when he does have his string cheese that it's not vegan, and we talk about what animal makes the cheese and the milk and so on. So when we do give him the string cheese, he actually doesn't want it, and he'll say things like, "Mommy, that's not vegan, it comes from a cow." And I'll say, "I know it's not vegan, but let's just finish up the cheeses that we have until we don't have any more, and I promise we won't buy any more." And the same thing with certain cookies. I tell him, you know, these cookies are not vegan cookies, so when they're finished, we won't be buying these again. So we're having that conversation and we're talking about that. So we're talking about that. We used to go to IHOP every single Friday, and it was like our family thing on Fridays. My husband's off from work, and this Friday we didn't do that. I actually made pancakes at home, and my son had asked, you know, why weren't we going to the restaurant to get the pancakes? And I told him the restaurant does not make vegan pancakes, so we cannot go to that restaurant anymore. So until we can find another restaurant that offers us vegan pancakes, Mommy will make them. So I made the pancakes and he was okay with eating them. And when it comes to the kids' diet, usually, like I said, for breakfast, the kids ate vegan already. Oatmeal, no milk. My daughter has Cheerios with almond milk now, and they used to have yogurts throughout the day. It's not something that they've asked for at all, but if it's something that they desire, we can always get vegan yogurts. My son had ice cream. It was a vegan ice cream. It was made with almond milk. It was chocolate. I told him that you know, we won't be able to have ice cream like how we used to before. Like we would go to Cold Stone, or we would just go out to the ice cream truck and get ice cream. I said, we're not gonna be able to do that because those places don't have vegan ice cream. But what we can do is we can have different types of ice cream. And we found one and he liked it. And I told him that sometimes we'll be able to have like sherbet, and we'll be able to have like ice pops because those are made with fruit juices. But ice cream specifically comes with milk, and that comes from a cow. So, you know, our children are really grasping it. My daughter, who's only 2, doesn't really get it as much as my son, who can vocalize. You know, when we had hot dogs, he was like, Mommy, those are not vegan. Like, he was telling me they come from a pig or they come from a cow, because we talked about this. And I said, actually, these are veggie dogs. These hot dogs are vegan, but other places you go, everywhere else you go, if they give you hot dogs, those are not vegan, and you can tell them that you don't want to eat it. And the conversation that we're having with him is, you're a vegan, so it means you don't eat animals, and it means you don't eat animals. And we talk about what that means to the body and how healthy he's going to be and so on. For parents who are asking me these questions, or for people who are not parents but just kind of are inquisitive, like, what are you going to do? I don't want you to fret and think like this is something that we're just changing like that. Like today they're vegan and boom, nothing else. Like that's not practical, and I don't think we would be successful at really doing this if we just decided to do a complete overhaul of every single item we have. And also it would be pretty expensive to try to go and get rid of all of these things and buy new things. We'd have to donate them to someone, or we'd have to, you know, give them to like a food pantry or a church or something like that. And these are things that, while I don't want my kids to be eating animal byproducts anymore, I'm willing to let this happen slowly. Let's finish out what we have. And there might be parents out there who are thinking, well, that's kind of hypocritical, or you're just kind of extending it. Why not just do it all in one lump sum? Because it doesn't work for me. And that's the honest reason. It doesn't work for me. There might be people out there who can just turn it off and tomorrow they decide to go vegan, and then everything is just meat free and animal byproduct free. But for me and my family and the way we live, that's not a practical approach. And I actually don't encourage that type of approach with anyone. You know, before I even went vegan, I was already contemplating going vegetarian. I was already eating clean, and making the decision to just not eat meat was pretty natural for me. But for someone like my husband or like my children, that's not going to be so simple. So we're taking it in strides. We recently invested in some new lunchbox things for the kids, because making lunchboxes is not something I've had to do ever. So we recently invested in some new lunchbox things, as well as like, you know, the packaging and like the things for their food. So what I'll try to do is mirror what the teacher is sending home for the meal plan that the kids are having. So if they happen to have spaghetti and meatballs, I can send them with wheat pasta, marinara, and vegan meatballs. Or I can just say, hey, please don't give them the meatballs. This is a vegan dish minus the meatballs, and that way I don't even have to send food that day. And if she says, oh, you know, we're having baked chicken and rice, I can say, all right, I will send with them some beans to go with the rice, or just send them beans and rice as I normally would. And if she's giving them, you know, chicken nuggets, I can send them with vegan chicken tenders that day or something. So my goal is to try to make them feel as though they're eating as normal to their friends, instead of their meal being so completely different than their friends, while still maintaining their veganism so that it doesn't interfere with the way that she does her work and her business. God bless you. So I really do hope this video was helpful for those of you who are inquiring, and obviously probably within the next 6 months from right now today, my conversations with you about how far we've gone with the children's veganism will probably be completely different. It will most likely be much stricter as we get more into it and we finish off the foods we have, and we have more involvement in their meals when they're not with us. Please let me know if you have any questions by leaving them in the comment section. Please recommend and make any suggestions you can. I love all of this advice everyone has been giving me, the recommended channels, the recommended foods and brands and books. I'm loving it. Thank you so much. And if this video you think could be helpful to someone else, share it. Absolutely share it. And of course, I love you for watching. Bye.